Other interesting political news, you have Trump completing 2 times more events than Kamala Harris as we lead up to the election. Now, this comes to us thanks to Joe Concha, and he says, quote, Kamala Harris has completed 36 campaign events, 31 media appearances, 13 rallies, while Trump, on the other hand, has completed 46 campaign events plus 10, and he's completed 62 media appearances plus 31, and 19 rallies plus, more, 6 more, which Trump has also been trying to, he's also done these, I mean, as youth might say, this is badass. Well, he's also done that in spite of being shot at. So he's had multiple assassination attempts, and he's still rocking and rolling. While Kamala goes to rudimentary interviews where they actually have the questions ahead of time, and she reads off the teleprompter. Yeah. Now, the Harris campaign, quote, hey, why don't you keep saying Trump is exhausted and see if the media echoes it? Because, yeah, no one's buying that. I mean, Trump is fueled by McDonald's and Diet Coke. You can't stop that man. And presumably he'll be preserved forever in terms of, all preservatives in those foods. Perhaps that's why he appears to age less than any other president in U.S. history. I kind of suspect that might be true. Only partially kidding. Now, here's a cool infographic where you pull up actual locations of where they're spending their time. You have one that says, where has Kamala Harris been campaigning? 53 events since September 1st, which I look so perplexed because I'm not sure how mentally vacuous Kamala Harris is, but she's spending a lot of time in California, which is the most useless. I mean, that's the dumbest use of her time in her life. California has been blue for decades, and they also have, a disproportionate amount of illegals there as well. I mean, and all the people who used to be more Republican-leaning in California has left, and California has alienated more and more businesses and people throughout the years with more regulation and taxes, as well as, record high crime, as well as, basically decriminalizing most theft, or, theft used to be a felony up to $950. It's now just a misdemeanor. So, I mean, a lot of people who were right-leaning has left California. I don't know why they'd be there to begin with, but yeah, she's spending any more than a day in California is a waste for Kamala Harris. I mean, of all the states that I would gamble, and I'm not a gambling man, that I would guess, oh yeah, that's going blue, it'd be California and Illinois, or as people who live there call it Illinois. I mean, that's their stronghold, and yet she's spending a lot of time there. Now, it makes more sense she's spending time in Arizona, also the whole, swing states. Although Iowa doesn't get enough loving. Now, she's gone to 7 events in Wisconsin, which again, that makes sense. Michigan's been, she's been there for 9 events, which again, that makes sense. Those are pre-contingent states. They tend to go back and forth. She's also spent a fair amount of time over in New Hampshire, a little bit of time in New York, which, I'm pretty pessimistic in terms of New York flipping. Now, she spent most of her time in Pennsylvania. That makes sense, just strategically speaking. There's more analysts than that can count saying if you win Pennsylvania, you win everything. Because there's only like a 3 or 4% chance of winning if you don't win Pennsylvania. There's a lot riding on that state. It's fascinating that they voted for her at all, or Biden at all, throughout the years, because again, they both rallied saying we're going to ban fracking, which is one of the big economic things they do in Pennsylvania. I mean, fun fact, Pennzoil, the company, it used to be called Pennsylvania Oil. They used to actually get it from there. Fun business fact of the day. But yeah, she's done 11 events in Pennsylvania, done a little bit in Virginia, a little bit in North Carolina, and then a fair amount in Georgia, which the fact that it's ever gone blue is just pathetic. They're the home of some of the coolest companies, and including the U.S. headquarters for Glock. You got Daniel Defense, you got Heckler and Koch, or Koch, depending on how you pronounce that German company. I know those are the largest companies on the planet, but to me, they're some of the coolest ones. And yeah, it makes sense she's spending most of her time in Pennsylvania. Now going to the Trump map, again, in terms of fundraisers, again, she's done, campaign events, 36, media appearances, 31. I mean, probably just one that didn't have a teleprompter. She also has 13 rallies and 4 fundraisers. Now, Trump has done 71 events since September 1st, and he's covering a lot more of the states. Now, he's had, again, 46 campaign events, 62 media appearances, 19 rallies, and 6 fundraisers. Now, Trump, I'm pretty shocked he's spending a fair amount of time in California, which, again, I'm pretty skeptical. I don't think it'd be flipped. Maybe I'll be wrong. I hope I am. But, again, California's been blue for years. He's spent a fair amount of time in Nevada, which makes sense. Arizona, again, pretty contingent state, makes sense as well. Interestingly enough, Utah, also Colorado, great state of, some might argue, great country, Texas, which unfortunately, I'm not sure how these people don't learn, but it's actually becoming purple throughout the years as people from California move to Texas. Which again, if your policies suck, part of the French, so bad that your state is bankrupt and is lost more businesses and people than ever before, probably don't want to replicate that. Again, don't California my Texas. There's actually some people, I met them at a half marathon a couple years ago. They had a Democrat, a booth at the pre-race. You pick up your race packet, and they were saying, "Oh yeah, we have a proposition. We want to implement an income tax for Texas." And I gave them a look as if they were so alien because I was like, "Why the hell would you try to take away one of the best things in Texas? How dare you?" Obviously, it wasn't bombastic. I just simply said not interested. But yeah, that is ridiculous. Now, Trump has spent a lot of, you can see the little cool dots, kind of shows you the signification of how many times he's been there. See a fair amount in Wisconsin, a little bit more in Michigan, which again, any union member, and again, I think the union heads, they're going for Kamala Harris because, again, the gangs, but Trump, when you look at the guys who actually assemble the cars, hardworking union members who realize that Democrats are destroying their jobs with the EV mandates, because again, EVs mean less physical labor to make the vehicles, less jobs in that regard. There'll be different jobs, mostly software, research, engineering. But yeah, the fact they're trying to ban the most profitable things they make in Michigan, where again, some union members get bonuses based on the performance of the car sales. Yeah, they should all be voting Trump, and I think many of them will. That's why he's spending a fair amount of Trump time in Michigan. About, let's say, 9 events in New York, which probably crazy. It's been so blue throughout history. It's been blue for so long. Maybe it's in play. I'm skeptical. Now, it makes sense. Pennsylvania is the biggest one at 16 events, which, again, makes sense. A few events in D.C., a lot in North Carolina coming at 8, Georgia, Alabama, as well as Florida. And they noted that the maps do not include media interviews, which, again, Florida, again, some of this is probably humanitarian effort, as well as campaign helping the hurricane victims. And it is interesting. It seems I'll just all rest on Pennsylvania. I can't but think that's going to be like everyone is tuning into that state. One time a year we talk about it, every 4 years. I'm only partially kidding. I know they have the steel industry there. In terms of sports balls, I know they do have the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Pennzoil. Need to research more about Pennsylvania. I only partially kid. Now, going to the main comment section. Again, this got about 32,000 views and 5.1 thousand likes. And yeah, it just shows you just the astronomical volume of things Trump is doing in terms of activities. Well, the first one comes from Sarah Rose. Says, quote, Kamala only talks for 10 to 15 minutes at her campaigns and rally events compared to Trump, who speaks for over an hour every time, getting 1.4 thousand likes, which very true. Trump also doesn't need a teleprompter most of the time, or suspiciously large Volkswagen size looking earrings that look suspiciously like audio gear. I still can't get over the fact that Kamala has many different outfits, and she wears the same earrings. I've consulted with my female family members and friends. Yeah, I'm pretty sure women like to accessorize, as they would say. They don't wear the same earrings with all the same outfits, or all different outfits. To me, as a youth might say, that is sus. You have David Sullivan, hashtag, or probably pronouns prosecute Fauci, says, never a politician. Now the best politician and performer is a picture of Donald Trump with Muhammad Ali. Got 151 likes. Scrolling down more and more. DNO says Kamala Harris defeated herself. It's a picture of Kamala just looking awkward in a bunch of photos. Which, again, if you do a screenshot of any video, you'll get an awkward picture of the people. I mean, and some people like me have a disproportionate amount of time on camera where you have awkward moments, so it's even easier to get those screenshots. Now, that did get 202 likes. Dave Champagne says, quote, she's either collapsing or Trump is not outworking Harris. It's kind of funny. The younger candidate is being outworked by a 78-year-old man. It's not close. True, getting 238 likes. Jonesy says, let's be serious for a moment. All of Harris's appearances have been scripted. Remove 30 of the 31 media appearances, and you're left with one CNN disaster. No one with a brain would vote for this failure. Getting 271 likes. Sorry, 271 likes, which you would think that, however, to a certain extent, it really doesn't matter how she performs on camera. She could literally do anything because there is a huge cult that says vote blue no matter who, which is ridiculous. There are some people who do that on the right, don't get me wrong. Just because there's an R next to someone's name, they'll vote for him. However, I see there's a whole movement. It's a whole mantra on the left by leftists. And I'm quite concerned that it's not just leftists who have that ideology. It's actually more and more increasing number of people in the Democrat Party. Now, you also have Jang Blank saying, quote, and zero celebrities to draw in crowds. Trump attendees come to see Trump and not music set. True, getting 141 likes. But remember, Kamala has the endorsement of Taylor Swift, who is an enthusiastic cleaning sales representative I can't imagine how much money Taylor Swift is making off the Swifter. I mean, that Swifter at Walmart, you see him on the shelves selling like hotcakes. I suspect that's really how that Taylor Swift is a millionaire, or a billionaire rather. That's my theory. She actually makes money off the Swifter, the quicker picker uppers. I mean, this has to be her, right? I mean, she has a whole song called "Pick It Up" or "Wipe It Off," something like that. It's all about cleaning and making bad decisions about men, which is even more hilarious that she endorsed, Biden and now Kamala. Yeah. Now, Vince Langman says, quote, "But Trump is tired and old." LOL, getting 440 likes rather. Let's see. Nathan says, "And many of those events have been speaking for hours. Kamala has never worked hard. She's never built anything. She doesn't know the grind." Getting 113 likes. Yeah, the only grind Kamala Harris knows is grinding her fancy pepper onto a salad. Yeah, culinary pun. Maybe. Yeah, Galigi says, "Someone please give the number of minutes that Harris spoke at her events versus how many minutes Trump did. You'll see a big divide," getting 68 likes. And yeah, can't help but think that's true. There's a horrifyingly creepy picture of Kamala cackling. It says, it's AI generated saying cackling Kamala, a communist, getting 5 likes. Let's see. Not seeing too many contrarian statements. No way. I'll read it. There's no likes, but it's funny. I'll read it. Someone by the name of X Daily says, "Maple MAGA shirt link." And it's literally a Canadian t-shirt that says Maple MAGA. Fiend Canada? Which, that's kind of funny. And I feel bad for the people who are under the authoritarian boot of Trudeau. There are some good Canadians out there, don't get me wrong. One of the most brilliant Canadians of all time is perhaps the inventor of the M1 Garand, or some people call it the M1 Garand. And guy's a genius. As one of the best, John Patton called it one of the best implements of, or tools of war in history. Fun gun fact of the day. So, yeah, it's pretty. I'm not too surprised because, again, Trump's gone on darn near every famous podcast. He went on Joe Rogan. He's out there, as youth might say, hustling and doing actually long, coherent interviews, not scripted, which, again, is something Kamala cannot do. That's why that's big. That should be the biggest red flag for folks. Kamala turned down the opportunity to interview on Joe Rogan, the #1 podcast on the planet, an opportunity most people would kill for. To have an ability to articulate all of your ideals in long format, really get into the details. Yeah, Kamala said, "No, we don't want to go Joe Rogan." I suspect because she can't hold a conversation more than 3 minutes without a teleprompter or those comically large earrings that, again, look suspiciously like audio devices. But yeah, the fact she did go on Joe Rogan, which, again, there are a diverse audience. I would say is maybe a little bit more right-leaning on average on Joe Rogan, but he has a lot of people on the left to listen to him, a lot of people in the middle, a lot of people on the right. That would have been a phenomenal opportunity for her to explain how she's going to do things differently. Oh, wait, no. She said multiple times in interviews she would not do anything differently than she's done in the past 3.5 years, which, talk about political blunder of the century, perhaps. So, not too surprised. Out of curiosity, are you surprised that Trump's done about 2 times more events than Kamala Harris? And do you think at the end of the day, will it make it, again, a lot of podcast interviews with Donald Trump, do you think that'll help him gain more and more people who are, libertarian minded, to go follow him, or go vote for him? Let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.